What's up now? How you doing? Jedi G here, back with another video. I'm talking about this video is gonna be on James DeMayo, cloud busting in Eritrea, yada yada. It's gonna be like a companion video to the video that I have on my page already. If you notice the cloud busting video that I have, it's a guy named James DeMayo, like I said, getting interviewed. Underneath, while he's being interviewed, they have the Conscious Media Network .com advertisement under it. And first of all, they changed their name to We Are Gaia. So if you want to look up that video and see the whole thing, it's like an hour long, really, hour and something long. I just put a snippet in it. You would go over there to We Are Gaia. I believe it's wearegaia.com, and then look at they got plenty of videos including that one. So I wanted to do a companion video to that video to help you understand, or to help you understand that video properly in the proper context. So James DeMayo claims that he built he built devices that, well, I'll tell you the whole backstory. So there's a gentleman in history named Wilhelm Reich, and Wilhelm Reich, at least Reich, James DeMayo said Reich or Wilhelm Reich several times in that interview, at least once on the snippet that I gave, but also in the full video. So Wilhelm Reich was a psychoanalyst that was under Freud. He was under Freud, trying to break down mind and sex and blah, 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 all the Freudian things. Freud was obsessed with sexuality. It's because it's a root chakra. These people were Satanists, right? Jewish Satanists. And not all Jews are Satanists. It's just that, just like you can be East African and not be Kemetic, right? You can be East African and be Christian and Muslim. But the Kemetic is the other side of it. The other side of this Jew shit is Satanism. All the Jewish bankers are satanic, and satanic people hide within Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, but especially Judaism, because they want you to look at them as the highest beings possible while they do you dirty, So Wilhelm Reich was a psychoanalyst with Freud, and he stumbled upon an energy that he didn't understand. He stumbled upon it was this blue glowing energy, and he didn't know what it was, and he called it orgone energy. Now, he didn't have the electrical engineering knowledge to describe what he was saying. In reality, this happened in the 50s or 60s, I believe the 60s. There was no literature on this. There's no internet. There's no phones. There's no There's nothing, right? So he ended up discovering the fourth state of matter: liquid, solid, air, plasma. What they call the fourth state of matter. I call light the fourth state of matter, or fire the fourth state of matter, not plasma. But they term it the fourth state of matter. Cool, maybe, whatever. Well, that's another discussion, right? So he found charged molecules. Have you ever touched a doorknob and it shocked you? You have, right? Why? It shocks you because there's a difference of potential between you and the doorknob. One of you has excess electrons or excess energy, excess charged particles on your person or on the doorknob. And to balance out, once you touch it, it equals out. So there's charged particles everywhere. And when they concentrate in a high state, they're blue. It's blue. It looks blue. So Wilhelm Reich discovered this. He was amazed by it. He was writing books, doing experiments, I mean, nonstop for years. It totally revolutionized and changed his life. He went completely outside of psychology and went straight into a deep scientist. He created a Cloudbuster, which is, well, he created the Orgone Energy Accumulator. Let me say that first, which is this book. This book is written by James DeMayo, right? The Orgone Accumulator Handbook. He has a picture of space with the blue glow. I don't believe in the moon landing, so I take that with a grain of salt. But anyway, James DeMayo wrote this book after he studied Reich. Reich has his own books that are private, I believe. They don't make them as public. I think probably because of threat of death, because Wilhelm Reich ended up being jailed. His books burned. They burned his books, jailed him, killed him. What they did to him was so incredibly disgusting, you can't even imagine. But luckily, he had 2 sets of books. He kept a set of books with his family. So that's how this information got out. So he was very, he wanted to make sure humanity knew the truth, which the humanity already knew the truth, and it was going to come out anyway, because it's all ancient Egyptian old technology anyway. But he still did his thing. Smart man. James DeMayo wrote this book, the Orgone Accumulator Handbook, and then he also wrote Heretic's Notebook. See right there, James DeMayo. Blue, boom, boom. Can you see that? Cloud busting in Eritrea, Africa. So, Wilhelm Reich created the Cloudbuster, which makes it rain, and he created the Orgone Energy Accumulator and a couple other inventions. They jailed him, burned his books, killed him. But his folks had another copy, another set, and those were circulating privately. James DeMayo, the guy in the video, found a set, was studying and testing his experiments, and was having results in a lot of it in the Southwest, Arizona, Nevada, etc. Well, not Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, shit like that. And he eventually started going to different places because people were getting wind of his experiments. Remember, he's producing documents. He's trying to get tenure and become a professor, yada yada, right? I don't know if that's his literal goal, but he's trying to be, he's working. He's using this to, he's decided to make Orgone Energy and all this his work. Like I said, Orgone Energy is just plasma. There wasn't the electrical engineering knowledge. It's just charged particles, ions, ION, negatively charged or positively charged. So anyway, he goes around the world. Everybody takes his invention, let him make it rain, and then they kick him out. They kick him out. Now, eventually, like they said in the thing, he goes to Eritrea, does it for 5 years, makes it rain crazy. I was there. I was 14 years old when I went to Eritrea, and it rained. All the locals were saying, it's raining so crazy right after independence, after independence, 91, which 93 was the referendum. So they're like, man, we're getting blessed, blah, blah, blah. So I remember those rains. I remember them vividly, how strong they were. Hail, ice hail, big like this, huge rocks. Because Asmara's in the sky, is on the top of a mountain. So the hail, the ice hasn't even melted yet. And it was hitting you, hitting you in the head and all that. So the reason why I wanted to talk about it or bring it up, the connection, was to ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt, the pyramids, is an Orgone energy accumulator, is a Cloudbuster. What do I mean? How does the Cloudbuster work, first of all? Well, in the thing, he talks about acupuncture. What he means when he says it's sort of like acupuncture is, imagine you, going about your day, whatever, you take a big tumble. You, let's say, fall down some steps, or you're running super fast and you fall and you skid or whatever. You get a big, huge mark, let's say a big, huge scar or whatever, right? what will happen is that your the energy center the energy meridians of your body, you have energy flowing through your body, right? Flowing through your body, different lines of force flowing through your body. When you get a scar like that, it blocks the line of force, so the energy has to go around, move around, or it gets disconnected, blocked, etc., which is why you always feel pain in scar areas, maybe some people for a long time, because they never get the energy center to go through the scar. So if I have a big scar on my hand and I never get acupuncture, what does the acupuncture do? They put needles to guide your energy through the original spots. The Chinese and all that, they have the energy meridians of the human body, right? Where your energy is flowing from the human body. So they know where it is. They'll measure, calculate the meridian, put the acupuncture needles, and now your body will naturally want to flow back there. So when you get scarred and it irritates you, that's because there's no plasma going there, no energy going there. So they put acupuncture to help you. Same thing with the Cloudbuster. Have you ever seen except you don't put it in the ground. So have you ever seen a globe a globe that's not big, but it's just like something that can sit on a desk, and it has lightning coming out from the center, lightning bolts, blah blah, coming out from the center to every part of the globe? That's exactly what's happening on Earth. There's lightning storms everywhere on the planet, lightning storms in the ocean, lightning storms everywhere at all times. Forever, there will always be some type of lightning storm on the planet, period. It's just like that globe. So what is the lightning doing? The lightning, the reason why the Earth is doing it, it's balancing its charge. There's positively and negatively charged ions all over, and those charged particles form a current called lightning. So I'll help you understand it better. So, for instance, you go take a shower, or you come from home from a long day. You're sweating, everything's dirty. You want to just take a shower and sleep or whatever. They run you a hot bath. You go into the bath. You go, you relax. Why do you relax? Unbeknownst to you, the water in the bathtub absorbs ions. This is plasma physics. So the water absorbs ions. It absorbs charge. Water is a better conductor of plasma than it is of electricity. It's actually water is a very bad conductor of electricity, but a very good conductor of plasma, at least of absorbing it. So what happened is when you sat down in that bathtub, the water siphoned all that negatively charged energy that you had in your body, and new charge. Remember, charge, it's all over, right? It's all over, like these charged particles or these ions are all over like air, right? If you touch a doorknob, you get shocked out of nowhere, right? Because it's always around you. It's everywhere. So the body takes away those charge that negatively charged. You have to understand also that ions are positive or negative, just like the time is day or night, right? So it's positive. You need negative ions to help you. But when you go through your day and you get stressed and you've touched a bunch of metal and you have your phone to your ear and you blah 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 blah, all this shit from modern technology, TV radiation, all this stuff, it messes with your energy. You feel irritated, and you feel way better when you take a shower. Why? Because the water recycles charge. This is what the Earth does. Imagine you're like Eritrea. Eritrea was in a 30-year war, which means what? We scarred the Earth. They dropped orange mustard gas and bombs and tanks and blah, 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 blah. Happened in Eritrea for 30 years long. We had a 30-year drought. Literally. Why? Because we had a big scar in our land. So in order to get that, we had to bring in more. They had to make the Cloudbuster, which basically looks like a Stalin organ, if you've ever seen a Stalin organ. Have you ever seen one of those old USSR Russian movies? An old USSR Russian movie where, they show how America's about to push the nuclear button and all that. Then they'll show a picture in Russia of some dude in the Kremlin with a wild hat. And they got trucks everywhere, and one of the trucks lifts up like this, and it's like 16 barrels, and it's all shooting missiles and shit. That's called a Stalin organ, from Stalin, the person that created the Russian Revolution, Stalingrad and all that shit. So that Stalin organ is similar to what the Cloudbuster looks like. It's all these long pipes and tubes. They pour water on one side of it, and that makes the energy or the charged particles attracted to the metal. This concentrates the charged particles in this area, and the earth naturally sends lightning and water to dissipate it. The earth says, "Oh, I'm feeling funny right here. Let me send a storm over there that will dissipate the energy." So it's a way of manipulating the earth into making it rain where you at. So they did that. We did that, and then obviously the Ethiopian War came back, and we couldn't do it anymore. But the point that I'm making is that that's one of the characteristic traits of the pyramids. The pyramid is an orgone energy accumulator. When you see what looks like a coffin, like or whatever, in the Great Pyramid, in the King's Chamber, in the Queen's Chamber, it's really a place where you can go like this, right, lay down and get charged with the right energy. You know what I'm saying? If I don't know if you ever watched a movie named John Carter. And I'm not trying to say that this is true, but in the movie John Carter, he goes to Mars. He goes to Mars by getting copied. But when he gets sent back to Earth, he wakes up and he realizes his body was open like this, laying on the ground for like a year, for like 2 years. He wasn't protected. Later on, he gets a proper coffin. He lays like this. He makes sure air is there. He gets properly hydrated, and he goes back to Mars. So I don't know if that's what the pyramids do, but there's faces on Mars too. If you have anybody, I don't know if I have the book here, but the Sidonia complex on Mars, there's faces and pyramids on Mars too. So I don't know. I've gotten to the point in my journey where I can believe it all. I can believe anything. The universe is holographic, all types of shit. So. Yeah, so the pyramids had water running underneath. There was rivers, just like the orgone. The only difference between the Cloudbuster and the pyramids is that the Cloudbuster is metal, it's force. The pyramids are all natural ingredients. So like, if you read a book called, which I posted over there too. Oh, and this is a good book to get for all the meridian lines and shit, the body electric, boom. And then read the Giza power plant. So it breaks down how he can't say for sure, right? But it breaks down how, like, he made one comment about, I forgot what the name is. There's a name for when you take the exoskeletons of insects and mash it together into a paste. So imagine you take flies, spiders, ants, anything with a hard shell, and you crush them all together, and you make a paste out. You add water, you make a paste out of it, and you smear it in certain areas of the pyramid so that the energy will siphon in a certain direction. I mean, that's just one excerpt from this that he talks about. He breaks that down. I could try to find it, but so that's what the pyramids were doing. It was keeping the Sahara Desert was a lush jungle. They took the lime. Remember when the people that live in Egypt now, the Arabs that live in Egypt now, when they took the limes, they took the casing. I believe it was marble. I forget it was marble. There's a gold pyramidion. There's a gold pyramidion on top. The apex of the pyramid had a pyramidion, which is an exact replica of the entire pyramid. And then they also took the casing off. It used to shine. The pyramids used to shine bright white. I don't know if it was marble or whatever. They took all that off. So the device, which is the pyramids in itself, did stop working. This is also why they were afraid and why war started with Eritrea, because when Eritrea brought the orgone energy back, we flooded Egypt. In the video, he talks about how there was 3-4 new lakes in the Sahara Desert in Egypt, which means what? We could have possibly turned it back on. It's a possibility that the work that was done in Eritrea could have turned on the pyramids back on again. It's a real fact. You know what I'm saying? It's a possibility. Again, I don't have all the, I'm a one-man show, so I don't have everything. But, yeah, so, yeah, so, that is this is the companion video to the Orgone Energy Accumulator. Leave comments if you have questions on every video you see. That's the thing that I want to say. I want to answer. I want to make my videos better. So I want commentary as much as possible. If you rude, I'm going to thrash you. I'm going to destroy you. If you're not rude and you just have a genuine question, I'm going to do my best of my ability to answer it. If you're rude and harsh and all that, I'm going to get the thing out and bust you in the head. Hotep.